One day, I returned home with clothes full of blood stains. But I was so excited, I told my husband, "You know, honey, today we did 3 surgeries and 2 of the patients had HIV. Can you imagine?" And now you have to imagine my husband's face at that moment. He was shocked, but I was the happiest person in the world. It was one of my first days in Kenya, in a remote island of Kenya. And to understand the absurdity of my happiness behind this story, we have to go back from Africa to Soviet Armenia, where I was born. I was born in a perfectly classical Soviet Armenian family. My family was caring and sometimes over-caring. They cared about me, about my safety, and by caring they started to cross the line and decided for me what is good and what is bad. That was okay when I was a child, but it became a real trap for me as an adult. That's how I became a gynecologist. My parents thought that this is a perfect profession for their kind-hearted daughter, and my calling was to help others. When this advice became a must, I didn't have enough courage to resist. Of course, education was the best thing that ever happened to me, but in my opinion, it was not enough. I had to find myself in my profession. Gynecology is a surgical profession. We have to be involved in a lot of surgeries. And I liked surgeries a lot, so I thought if I work hard, maybe I can become a good surgeon, and maybe this is the way to find myself in my profession. Years later, as an established physician, I came to realize that here medical society also cares about women. And this is another case of overcaring that resulted in discrimination. In our part of the world, the percentage of women gynecologists is much higher than the percentage of men gynecologists. But the percentage of women who actually do the surgeries is very, very, very small. Surgeons are men, and they gently, softly push women out of a man's world. After several years of working in a hospital, I realized that even after 30 years, I will be in the same position as a surgeon's assistant until I retired. And the proof was my senior colleagues. This reality struck me. At every level, I had to fight if I wanted to change something. And I was questioning myself. What am I fighting for? They are more than me, they are obviously bigger than me, and maybe they are right. Family, society, when everything is against us, we often give up. Why should I leave my comfort zone and go against the current? Looks like everyone knows what to do. Everyone knows what I should do and what role I have to play in society. Am I the ugly duckling? No. Do I want to be an ugly duckling? No. Am I comfortable in my mess? Yes, but not really. Slowly, I was giving up until I was totally lost. I didn't even have an identity to lose. One day when I thought that all the doors are closed for me, suddenly I had an offer to go to volunteer in Kenya, in a hospital. And that was a turning moment in my life. I have never been in Africa. I knew only about these deadly tropical diseases that are spread in Africa. I knew about my fear of flying, and what is the most important thing I knew, that I don't know any English at all. Deadly diseases, fear of flying, no English, no chance of me going. But I knew that there was a lack of surgeons, and my desire to help people and to actualize my potential as a physician was so big that literally in a few months I learned English, and despite my terrible aerophobia, I was flying to Kenya. It was December 2016, and guess what? After my arrival, the next thing I knew that there was a 100 days physician strike started all over Kenya, just the day before my arrival. Imagine. No doctors in the hospitals, all gone on strike. No planned surgeries. In case of emergencies, people were dying. So in the hospital that I was supposed to work, they told me that there are no doctors around anyway, so you just can come and do whatever you can. But you have to help all the patients that hospital admits. I said, okay. It was me and an intern from Tanzania. We started our work, and I have seen all the diseases that I have only read about. We had patients with dengue fever, with malaria, with chikungunya. I even didn't hear about this virus before. We had fishermen run over by speedboat while diving for lobsters. We had victims of intertribal fightings. We had patients with hippo bites, imagine, hippo bites, snake bites. So after this incredible experience, after 6 months, all of a sudden I had another offer to go and volunteer in war-torn Sudan. In Sudan, I had to replace Dr. Tom Catena, who went to Armenia to receive the Aurora Humanitarian Prize. Dr. Tom was and is, for many years, the only surgeon for 1 million people in the Nuba Mountains. Imagine one surgeon for 1 million people. There were not many people willing to go to this dangerous place, but my respect to this physician was so big that I didn't think about danger. I thought, if it is okay for him, it should be fine for me as well. Me and other 2 surgeons went to Sudan and replaced Dr. Tom Catena there. After 7 months being in Africa, I returned to Armenia as a totally different person with different values and with an exceptional experience. I had gone to Africa to help people, but after returning, I realized that I helped myself. I helped myself to actualize my potential as a physician and to redefine myself as a human. Seems like helping others is firstly about helping yourself. But I brought something else with me from Africa, and it was the feeling of injustice. It was unfair for me that in these countries people are dying just because of the lack of physicians. And in our country, we have so many surgeons that are struggling to actualize their potential. I was on another mission very soon after that, and I had a phone call from Dr. Tom Catena. He asked me again to go to the Nuba Mountains and to replace him again. I told him that I can't come, but I will find and I will send doctors for you, and I did it. That's how the organization called Traveling Doctors was born. I established an NGO with the mission of sending doctors to the areas cut off from medical services. Eventually, I found something that I loved and I was passionate about it. It was not a job, it became my mission. Volunteers that I am looking for are different type of people. They share the same ideas and values. People think sometimes that we are addicted to danger. No, we are not. All this is about love and passion for a meaningful work. I discovered that we travel to these remote areas not only to help people, but to find ourselves, to re-identify ourselves and our own values. And here comes the paradox, something that sounds really weird. By risking my life, by doing my work to help other people, that sounds very altruistic, but in reality, I helped myself first. Like in an airplane, when oxygen mask drops, the instruction says, you have to put mask on you first, then help others. It's true not only on a plane. Don't let yourself to be boxed in. Challenge yourself. Come out of your shell. Be open to the world, and the world will open its doors to you. You will see everything in a brighter colors. You will love yourself more. You will respect yourself more. You will understand that you are able to do anything. Remember to put mask on yourself first. Thank you.